You know, I was thinking like, how could I show off my really cool editing PC? But well, you think this is a gaming PC, this Victus 15L. Nah, this is a gaming PC. Of course, I do more than just gaming on this bad mamma jam of a wonderful gaming PC. This thing is also my editing PC. If you want to know more, let's get into here and talk about what's inside. All right, guys, I'm going to tell you about my little friend right here, this little gaming computer that I have. Yeah, I know she's not so little. Let me go ahead and camera in the way. Just take this panel off. All right, guys, so let me start it off with, yes, I own a Thermaltake case. A friend helped me get this, but the price tag on this thing, it is not cheap. There's dual radiators right here with 9 120 millimeter fans. There's a 360 and a 360 right there. Of course, we come up to our flat FTL 240 EKWB water and pump reservoir. This is, if I remember correctly, it's a D5 PWM pump. Of course, we got our fill tube right here with the turn off, and we can fill it up there. Of course, we got 3 Redux 140 Noctua fans, a Noctua 140 industrial in the back, and another 2 right here. All right, so we're gonna start from the bottom, or we'll start from the top right here. We have our motherboard, which is an ASUS WRX 80 EATX motherboard, a ginormous monstrosity of a motherboard. I love this thing. It's got dual 10 gigabit Ethernet NICs with dual U.2 ports, which are right here. And we also have 3 M.2 slots, one right there, one right there, and one right there. This has also an external M.2 PCIe 4.0 4 M.2 or 4 slot M.2 card, which I have filled right there, populated because I have 2 4 terabyte PCIe 4 NVMe's in there. That's my editing drive. Also with my M.2, my U.2 8 terabyte, which is in the back. So if I bring you guys around in the rear here, you see there's more fans back here. And we got 3 Western Digital 4 terabyte blues. And right up here, if you can kind of see through the fan, which you can't, there's a U.2 underneath here. It does need active cooling. And then we got our 2 terabyte Samsung SSD right there that I use for just gaming and other drive. As you can see, there's these fan filters right back here, which one just fell because I ripped it off. And there's more cages up here if I wanted to put more fans, which this thing's already got. Way too many fans as it is. It's got 18 case fans. And there's 12 120 millimeter fans and 5 140 millimeter fans. All our extension cables are made by Cable Mod. We got black and then black and blue. And we have fan extension cables, USB extension cables. The front panel on here has 4 USB 3.0s with headphones and a microphone jack, and then the power button. I'll let you guys see that really quick.
We have 4 DIMMs of Corsair DDR4 3000 megahertz, and that's 128 gigs of RAM.
Plan to put another 128 in here. Gotta remember, this is our editing station. This is what we edit our main content on, do all our graphics, do all our animations, do all our tech stuff. So this is the main editing rig for Tech Nitwit. This is also paired with a 72 terabyte NAS that's in a server, and we use Fiber Channel to actually back up all our media from Tech Nitwit. EKWB sandwiched water block with quick connects. That's for serviceability. I would probably never do hard connections on a water block, but that's an RTX 3090. It's a Dell variant, which Dell cards really suck, and I'm going to be replacing that with a different 3090 because, well, it's Dell. It's nothing special. It's just a 3090. It's just extra VRAM, helps with editing. That's why we use it, especially editing with multicam in 4K. There are 7 PCIe 16X 4.0 slots, and yes, all 7 16X slots are active and usable. The processor that's in here is an AMD Ryzen Threadripper 3955WX. Bring up about the processor is it is a 16 core 32 thread. It's a base clock of 3.9. It boosts to 4.3. This processor will do about 300 and 310 watts. It's a frickin' hog. So with this processor being a Ryzen Threadripper 3rd gen, this is a TSMC 7 nanometer FinFET, which is a pretty good design. It has an L3 cache of 64 megabytes. It really shows when you're doing editing. I really wish I would have gotten the 24 core one, but I wouldn't have enough money to get the RAM for it. That's the problem, is when you're doing editing with multicam and 4K,
Each core you add, you need about 8 to 12 gigabytes, which really sucks.
and the chipset on here is a WRX 80, and max memory in this is 2 terabytes, which that's a lot. But if you're doing editing, a CAD design, you can really eat that memory up. A lot of stuff I do in Adobe Premiere Pro also runs Adobe After Effects in the background. And a lot of times Adobe After Effects is eating like 64 gigs of RAM, like no sweat. And then you still got Adobe Premiere Pro, which wants more RAM. This nickel-plated Sandwich 3090 water block, this thing weighs like, I might be exaggerating, like 20 pounds. Maybe it's not that, but it's probably like 10 pounds. So it's a lot on there. So I have this MSI like shock absorber with these adjustable rails. All the fittings that you see in here are either EKWB or Alpha Cool. I am going to bring you to the front here, which you guys really can't see. I can't spin this PC because of how big it is, but I want to show you guys the plumbing. So you can see some of the plumbing coming from here.
It's a single loop with dual radiators.
So what happens is this feeds one radiator, comes to the GPU, then it comes back down, feeds another radiator, which feeds the CPU. I do plan to actually move all these parts into a Fractal XL because it's easier to maintenance and move. This thing literally weighs 120 pounds. It is frickin' heavy. It takes 2 people to move this thing around safely. I've lifted it by myself and it is not fun. Expansion cards. So if you're wondering like, hey, I see some expansion cards in there I don't recognize. So TechNitwit, why do you have all these expansion cards? I see you already have 10 gigabit dual 10 gigabit Ethernet on the motherboard. Why do you need, expansion cards? It looks like you have a 10 gigabit NIC there. That guy right there, it's a 4-port USB PCIe USB like adapter card, and it gives me 2 more USB 3.0 headers internally, and it's also powered. And that can do, I think, 5 gigabytes every 2 ports. But the real cool card is right above that, which is this guy right here. It's really hard for you to see. It's a black card right below the M.2 card right here. And that actually has 4 USB-C 10 gigabyte per second ports. When I offload all my drives from my cameras, I'm plugging them into this guy. And then the front panel headers right here, which are these cables coming in right here. And then I'm offloading usually to my U.2 drive or my M.2 drive. Why I have 2 like that is because when one gets full, I'll start offloading all my finished videos to my NAS, and then I can still work off the other one. Probably wondering what powers all this equipment. Like, hey, you didn't talk about the power supply. Well, it has a 1300 watt EVGA gold power supply, and eventually I probably will have 2 3090s in here for editing. Not so much for gaming because SLI is pretty much dead, but MV linked together. I don't know if I would ever build a computer that's this expensive for gaming because, I mean, it's not really needed. You don't need all the extra PCI slots, so you can get away with only having one PCIe 16X 4.0 slot on a gaming board, where I need the extra drives because I'm doing work and editing and I'm moving large files around all the time. So this is partially a file server, which also is our graphics design and editing station. Hey guys, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments about this guy, or you're trying to build something like this, or you're having problems with your editing or your workstation and need some help, throw it down in the comment section, man. I always love talking with you guys. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate it if you watched this long. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out, y'all.